finished this painting entitled Mary, Did You Know? I began with a basic outline of the figure and was trying to decide kind of how I could incorporate Mary holding baby Jesus in with, something that tells more of a story, and how I kind of wanted to fit that in on the canvas. So I started out with kind of the basic outline of Mary and then wanted to try to incorporate something in her head wrapping or something like that to kind of show more of the story. So I decided to go with kind of this almost like galaxy-like effect to kind of give it a more worldly feel, like the entire universe, and that, this little baby impacted the entire world and had a reach that went far beyond just, the little town of Bethlehem. And I decided to use a toothbrush to kind of splatter on some white that made it look almost like stars in the sky. That also kind of impacted the star, of course, that showed baby Jesus's birth. And then I couldn't decide on the back of the head kind of how much to do, so I started off with just a real basic line, and then I wanted it to kind of go right into a landscape too. So the back of her head kind of flows right into the empty tomb scene. And then I also, of course, have Mount Calvary with the 3 crosses that will also be behind it. So I kind of just very little by little wanted to paint in some of those elements and yet keep some of that galaxy showing through. So it's kind of a play on those 2 areas. How much should I add? How much should I let show through? I experimented a little bit with some glowing lights too. And then we'd go back to working on the figures. So I, with the faces, I wanted them to kind of glow with warmth. So I started with very warm colors once I got kind of the basic outline down. And I started with a very warm skin tone. But I also wanted them to have that vibe from like where they were, what part of the world they're from. So I added more to them later. And then as I worked, I kind of jumped back and forth between the figures and the background. So here I am working on the crosses, kind of defining those a little bit. I ended up going and lightening right behind them a little bit more because they were getting lost in the background. So I had to repaint the crosses then after lightening the background up. You can also see I've already done the star, having that shining down. And I was trying not to make one thing stand out too much, so just kind of paying attention to how light the star was and how light the sky was behind the crosses. Both of those things were very important to kind of make it a balanced piece of art. I also didn't know if I should have people on the crosses. I thought about painting Jesus and the robbers on the crosses and then have people, around grieving them. But I decided not to put all of the figures in and just keep it simple. Here I have the open grave too, with a little bit of light kind of shining from that. I wanted to just kind of indicate that, hey, the crosses is not the end of the story. So I put those in there as well. And then with the figures, I wanted to add, enough detail to kind of bring them to life. So even, some of the finer hairs on Mary's head, on the eyebrows, the eyelashes, things like that, just to make it a little bit more realistic. And so I worked on, defining some of those elements, trying to kind of add those finishing details to the piece before calling it complete. And then the glow of her head covering, I wanted to kind of make sure that this is the focal point, right? This is where I want your eyes to be drawn to right away. So I made that very glowing. I started off just kind of with a softer yellow and then went and built it up to a brighter yellow, right behind her face especially, because I really wanted it to glow. and just kind of kept on working on that to brighten it up. And then the same thing, just kind of with the clothes. I wanted that to kind of reflect some of the bright light and draw the eye down to the baby's face as well, on both. So I went ahead and signed the work and was excited to have the finished piece called Mary, Did You Know? So here it is. You can kind of get an idea of the full scale. And my original piece has sold, but I do have prints available on my website if you would like a copy of one yourself. Thanks so much for watching.